So in her summary at the end of the chapter, she says, what is the common thread running through all of the examples in this chapter? Religions and worldviews that deny the biblical God must treat something else as the ultimate reality. Right. That's principle one, right? With the exception of other monotheistic religions, they deify something immanent within the cosmos. They absolutize some aspect of creation as the ultimate explainer. Right? They reduce everything else then to a single category. That's principle two, the reductionism, right? Reductionism, she says, is like trying to see the world through a single lens, right? G.K. Chesterton called reductionism a mental prison. Whatever does not fit in that prison then is denied and suppressed. Right, and that's what she's trying to point out here. And so she says the result is always a vision of the world that is narrower, poorer, darker, less humane than the biblical picture. A worldview's concept of humanity cannot be higher than its concept of the divine. Mm-hmm. Right, that's as high as it can go. Romans 1 starts its teaching on idols by saying that the wrath of God is revealed from heaven. There's probably nothing that modern people hate more about religion than to the talk of the wrath of God.
Oh, right? Man.
It suggests a picture of an angry, vengeful deity, but the biblical concept of wrath often refers simply to God's impeccable opposition to evil and injustice.
Isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the whole view of, why would God allow evil things? Okay, well, then let God take out this group of people that are slaughtering and eating their own children. Yeah. Whoa, that's genocide. We cannot have that. What is this vengeful God doing? He just needs to snap his finger like Thanos and make everyone good and conform. Oh, but we don't want to be robots. We want to be have freedom to choose, and one of those abilities to choose is to choose evil, right? So again, wherever you fall, you're not going to land. So let's stick to biblical truth and declare who God is, because that's where the truth lies.
Right. In fact, she says that wrath doesn't even necessarily mean divine intervention in human affairs at all. Right.
Sometimes.
And as we've seen in Principle 2, God's judgment often consists in, notice, giving people what they want. Right. Letting them experience the self-inflicted consequences of their choices. Yeah. That's part of the judgment, right? Okay, fine, you want to go that way. All right, you can go that way, right?
Yeah. You want to distill everything down to the oppressed versus oppressors within race or economic class. I mean, you're essentially looking at the political process of 2020 Western world as we speak, and that tends to be God removing His hand and His blessing from a nation or a people, or hey, if you want to go at this your own way, good luck. And so enjoy being at each other's throats.
She says our hearts, though, should break for these people.
Yeah,
whose
absolutely.
worldviews are dark and dehumanizing and demeaning and dishonoring to human persons, right?
Yeah.
An opportunity is wide open, she says, to present Christianity as radically positive and humane. A biblical worldview does not, makes deities any aspect of the created order. It doesn't set up a false absolute. And so as a consequence, it does not lead to reductionism that devalues or denies the other dimensions of creation. It does not have to shove the universe into a box and slice off whatever doesn't fit, right? It's not an exclusive, but an inclusive type of thing, affirming the goodness and reality of all of God's diverse and multifaceted creation, including people, persons. Right. Yeah.
Right. So that is our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is not to say I won. It's ultimately to say God won, and we want more people to value that as well. Yeah. To recognize that, and as Dr. Mitch Stokes says, that we should love what God loves.
Yeah. Good. She says Christianity fulfills the human hunger for a unified, integrated worldview to live by. Yeah. Right. With everything that's together. Yeah. And not piecemealed and things cut off and that kind of stuff.
And it's a good charge for us to look at our own presuppositions, our own what we bring to the table for traditions. That's a big one. Is we've always done this way, or this is right because, well, I guess I've never self-examined it. Those are things we should again bring under the authority of the transcendent God and say, are my actions in sync with what He says is the proper path?
Yeah.
So think of it like a train track versus a road. If you have a train that's all over the road, it's slipping, sliding, it's sending off spark, it's going into the ravine sooner than later, but the track tells you, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to speed up, takes a little while to slow down, but ultimately I'm on the right path because I'm within the groove of how we were all made.
That's right. Trains were made to run on tracks.
That's right.
If the train says, I want freedom, get me off of this track, what happens to the train, right? There is no freedom. It gets bogged down, right?
Exactly.
And it can't move. No, trains were made to run on the tracks, and we're created to run on the track that God has created us to run on.
Right.
She says, Christianity has the intellectual resources to provide a holistic, internal, consistent guide to life, and so it is attractive, and we should work to help people to understand that.